Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Today I'll be continuing the work on my cement temple, the one that's styled like the Prohm temple in Cambodia or the Angkor Wat temple. And I've started casting these faces and trying to cut them into sections to look like they're made of stone. My first attempt at casting the head went quite well. The casting was good. And then I tried to cut it into sections with a saw blade, and it wasn't very easy to saw through the concrete. So my next attempt, I cast each of the sections separately, and then my hope was to put it together. And it worked fairly well. The only problem was that my mold deformed. You can see how wide the ears are apart when they're supposed to be that width. So I've either got to make a better mold and do this method, or get a better saw blade for cutting it apart. Many of the heads at the temple are quite weathered and have pieces missing from them, so I can still use this one. I just need to probably break the ears off and try and, make it look a little more like this head, and maybe cement it together lightly, and I think I can still use that one. So I've got a hacksaw with a blade for cutting through steel. I'm going to try that on the head and see if I can cut it into pieces with the hacksaw. Maybe it'll work better than the little thin blades I was using. All right, here I go. I'm lubricating my saw blade with water to keep it cool and to keep the particles out of the saw blade. Well, it seems to be cutting. Yeah, you can see all the cement on my saw blade there. I may have to buy a few hacksaw blades. They'll probably dull quickly, but that's a possibility for cutting through. I may not even have to cut all the way through. I might be able to break it once I get it partway through. I'll try cutting across here. The hacksaw blade is a little thicker than the one I used before, so I may get some chipping in that, but yeah, so that's working. It's working quite well. This is my deepest cut, and it's down the height of the saw blade. I'll just try the one on the end here. Yeah, it cuts fairly well. It's a possibility anyway. I'm going to start working on the second head now. So it's too wide. So I'm going to have to break off the edges with my pliers to kind of get the right shape of the face. And I may have to cut these ears off. But I think I can get something together that looks reasonable, I hope, anyway. So here I go. I'll start with the chin down here, which has this big chunk hanging off of it. So that's got that piece in check. Next I'll do this one, which has the ears, the bottoms of the ears, so I'll just take the bottom part off here. Hopefully the ear won't break off, but if it does, it'll look natural. Oh, see, that ear just broke off. But I can't worry about it. It's got to look ancient and, like it's been through thousands of years of weather. Okay, so that's got that piece in check. Let's see how that looks. Okay, so that's kind of three together. Now this one goes quite wide. This ear is close, but so I'll try and take the end off of here. Take the top off here. Now the whole ear might break off here, but it's sort of hung on. This one's quite wide here. See how that's looking. Well, not real good. I may have to, I don't know, try a bit more work on this ear here. That's a little better that side. Let me work on this side. Oops. So that took that ear off pretty good. But that's okay. That actually looks all right. And then I've got this part. No. Yeah, that's the top part, and that's got to be really brought back. That's way too wide, so let's chip it off right about here. Like that, and then this one's got to be brought back over to here. So that's fairly close. And then I've got the top of the hair, which goes like that, which has to be chipped back to here and here. So we'll just fix that up a bit. Okay, like that. So I think I can put together a fairly good head now. One that'll look quite reasonable. If you see it here. At least it's recognizable as a head. Yeah, we'll try it anyway. I'll clean this mess up. Which is good rubble to have too. I might save some of this rubble. Especially the ones that have like cast textures in them like this one. They look perfect at the base. The little chunks I'll throw away, but I'll keep all my larger ones. So I have a feeling I'll need those. I'll mix up some cement now and put this face together, and I won't cement it like really securely, just enough to keep the pieces together. That way when roots start growing in between the cracks, it'll split it apart, just like the real temple. While I'm working away on my heads here, I'll show you some photos that Christoph sent me. He visited the Angkor Wat Temple and the Prohm Temple, so I'll show you those now. I need a total of 4 heads for this project. One will go on each face of the square type column. And I think this one's going to be a good one. I'm not sure about the one I just made. So I'm going to recast a new face using the same technique, a one-piece mold. And then I'll try cutting it up into sections once again. And I think I'm going to go with that kind of approach. And it may be just a matter of finding the right saw blades or that to cut it apart. So I'm going to knead up my plasticine and make a mold to cast a one-piece face once again. So I'm fairly happy with the, using this plasticine or modeling clay as a mold. I think it's working well. My last one, it deformed when I cut it. So I think if I had made a square flat surface on this side, when I cut it, it would be supported. So maybe that last technique wasn't so bad. It was just my execution of it wasn't very good. So I may try it again that way and just try and make it better. Because it is nice having it in sections like that without cutting it. Cutting's a lot of work. All right, all is going well. I've got my ears attached to the mold. I'm just reinforcing it all with the excess plasticine I have here. So the mold's nice and strong when I go to take it off. Doesn't deform too much. Okay. I think that is as good as it will ever get. I'm just checking to make sure my mold line is fairly vertical and flat. It's not bad. Okay, I'm going to take it off now. So here I go. There. So that looks pretty good. You can kind of see the face in there. Okay, so that is what I'm going to fill with cement. I was just looking at the reference photos, and it looks like the faces at the temples have sort of a headdress around them. So I could add some indentations to kind of simulate that. I think I will. I'll get my toothbrush here, and I'll just do a little carving in the mold. So I'll start, there's the hairline, so I'll make that kind of the start, and I'll just kind of go around like this. There, I think that'll improve the look at the top of the head there. It's kind of, on this model, there's a lot of forehead here with nothing much happening. It's kind of boring, so I think adding that pattern up there will make it look a little more realistic too. All right, so I'm going to mix my cement up now, fill the mold up. All right, I've got my cement mixed up, so into the mold it goes. Got to work quickly. Hopefully I won't get air bubbles. All right, so I'll spread it around here. I've got to get it in the ears. Okay, I'll let that dry. While I'm waiting for that other piece to dry, I'm going to see if I can scribe the vertical lines in with an X-Acto knife on this piece. So I'll come up here. Try to kind of cut a V-shaped groove in it. That's actually working quite well. I'll put one down the middle of the nose here. So these lines are based off a photo, the position of them. I like the chipping. It really gives it an authentic look. Something that, you know, it'd be hard to duplicate any other way. You can see that. It's kind of, yeah, it looks just like the real thing, I think. Close anyway. Yeah, I'll recheck the photos and see where the other lines are supposed to be, but that gives you a good impression of what it'll look like. Yeah, it looks quite authentic. I think it's going to look good. I've got the vertical lines scribed in the face now, and my next step, it's a little smooth looking, so I thought, well, I need some, you know, weathering, so I'm just coming in and kind of chipping up the concrete a bit. Not all of it, but just in places. My next step for these faces, well, I'll need a rectangular tower to attach them onto. So I'll need like a form in the middle, maybe wooden or something to build my blocks around the outside of it. So I just need to find something the right shape, and then I can cast cement blocks that I can then cement up and build, you know, the column up that the faces attach onto. So yeah, I'll see if I can find something that's about the right size, you know, a square something. I'll look around and see what I have. Here's a look at my first face. I put all the vertical lines in it. I trimmed around the ears and the top of the head a bit just to make it a little better of a shape. I think I'll call that one finished. It's much later in the day now. The sun is set and it's starting to get dark outside. So I think my second face will be dry enough that I can take it out of the mold. So here I go. All right. So this will be really interesting to see how that little detail I added looks, to see if it adds to it and gives it more of a Cambodian flavor to the face. Authenticity. Hopefully it's a good cast. I don't know. You never know. You might get some huge air bubble or something and it may throw the whole thing off, but okay, it's coming out now. Here it comes. Here's the reveal. There it is. Here's a look at my two faces. So this one had a problem area here. The cement didn't fully fill the mold. It's a little bit, yeah. It looks okay though. I mean, it looks very natural, like it's deteriorated away over the years. The top, I think, turned out pretty good. I like the bumps on the top. It really adds. Like this one's kind of boring up top here. There's nothing going on much. And this one, yeah, it looks more authentic for sure. So I like that. I'll keep doing that. So I think this face is good. I will do the same thing. I'll divide it up. And I don't know, I may try and fix this area with a bit of cement. I've got two good faces here. And this other one I made, I mean, it isn't the greatest, but it could definitely be used at the back of the temple. So that means I only need one more face. So I'll cast that tonight. And then tomorrow I can start working on the structure that the faces are attached to. So my walls and the other parts of the temple. So it's going to be very difficult. They're very fancy, those temples. Every stone in them is carved and very intricate. So again, I'm not after total historical accuracy or trying to make it accurate to the Prohm temple or the Angkor Wat temple. As long as it has that kind of a feeling to it, I'll be very happy. In the latest mold, I added this headdress up here, and I think that really added to it. So in the next one, the eyes are closed in all these sculptures. I'm going to try and model the plasticine to have the eyes open. So it's going to be difficult because everything's in reverse. But I'll try it. I'll see if I can get the impression of eyes open. I think that'll be really good for the front face of the temple. All right, so I'm going to work on the new mold here. So I'm going to reapply this to the face. So I was really happy with that above the, on the forehead there, that headdress or whatever that is. And I think I'll do that again. I'll maybe make it even more deluxe, maybe. Yeah, maybe even go up higher right into the top here. So that could be kind of cool. Because on the ones in the temple, they kind of have the top, it comes up quite high. Like there's almost like a crown or something, and very fancy up top. So, see if I can get something like that. I don't know. Okay, this is really pushed down really well on the face. That should capture all the detail quite nicely. All right, I'll remove this now. Here I go. Like that. Okay, so that's looking good. I still have a lot of detail up top here, which is really nice. Okay, I'm going to try and make the eyes open now. So I'll need a few sculpting tools to do that with. And I have to look at the photos. So I'm going to do it in beside the computer. I'll bring it back and you'll see what the mold looks like with the eyes open. And I'll try and sculpt the ears into. Looking at the photographs on the computer and trying to match the style and everything. So I'll come back and we'll see what the mold looks like. Here's a look at my mold now. I finished doing all my detail work and I did a lot. I don't know if you can see it in there. I did a really fancy headdress up here. I looked at the reference photos and tried to kind of duplicate it. I made the ears, I sculpted them myself, and then they kind of have a column of like an earring on the bottom. There's a bit of a pattern, like a shirt line or something at the bottom here. I sculpted the eyes open, and I also put more of a smile on the mouth. So yeah, fairly ambitious, and I don't know how it'll look. But I'll cast it tonight, and we'll see tomorrow how it turns out. In the original face sculptures, the eyes don't really stand out much because they're closed and there's just a bit of an eyelid there. So I'm hoping this new one, the eyes stand out more and it looks more authentic. So we'll see. It'll be very interesting. I don't think it'll dry in time for tonight's video, but too bad. I'll see. Maybe after I'm done editing the video, I can add a reveal at the end. I don't know. It might have to wait till tomorrow. Probably will, because I don't want to upset all that detail by taking it out of the mold too early. So I think I'll let it fully harden until tomorrow. I also tried flattening the face a bit in the mold. So I kind of squished the mold out. So I don't know how it'll all look in the end, but it'll either be my best face or it'll be the worst one. I don't think it'll be the worst. This is the worst one, and yeah, you can't get much worse than that one. Okay, that's going to do it. We'll just let that firm up and dry. I was reading on the internet how long hydraulic cement takes to dry. They say it sets in 3 to 5 minutes, which it's hard as a rock right now. But the full strength doesn't come for 28 days after you've cast it. But they say 24 hours is a general period where it hardens. You know, it's mostly fully hardened. So I'm thinking, because this is going to be my best casting yet, I hope, maybe I should leave it till tomorrow. If I risk pulling it out tonight, maybe the ears will break off and I'll be disappointed. So I think I'll leave it till tomorrow's video. So it just means we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, it'll be interesting. So that's it for tonight. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me today in the Bonsai Zone.